Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. Today we have kind of a cool opportunity to compare and contrast two very similar trucks. We have two different Chevy Colorados here. We have a 2024 ZR2.
Nice.
And then we have a 2024 Trail Boss. So we're gonna take a look at the differences between these two trucks and see which one we would pick and just which one is cooler in our minds. But stick with us. Let's go over the different quirks of each. So I guess we're gonna start at the front of the truck. We're gonna go from tip to butt, as Grand Thumb would say.
Whatever.
Here we have the ZR2 wheel. It comes with a 17-inch wheel and 33-inch mud terrain tires. So pretty aggressive tires for a stock tire on the ZR2. But I mean, this truck is made for aggressive off-roading. So it does come with the right tires. As opposed to, we have the Trail Boss. It comes with 18-inch wheels and just some all-terrain tires here. A little bit less sidewall to play with on the Trail Boss. ZR2 obviously being kind of an upgraded package, you're gonna want, better tires on there for off-roading. But I mean, these are really nice looking tires on the Trail Boss. So, and if I was daily driving, I mean, these Trail Boss wheels look pretty sick. And on the Trail Boss, as you can see, we kind of have a naked side here, no steps. Obviously you could option some steps to come on there or add some aftermarket steps, but no really protection on the side of the vehicle. But if we move over to the ZR2 comes stock straight from the factory with these awesome rock sliders on there. They're not steps, so don't get it twisted. Don't try to step on this thing and get in the vehicle, or it doesn't work, trust me. I've already hurt my shin on it. But
emotional damage.
Yeah, these things are awesome looking. Look at these. This is straight from the factory. Great protection for the side of the truck. Both trucks, they have the same fender flares on them. So, I mean, not much different there. If you come up to the front of the trucks, the front is kind of where some major changes happen. On the Trail Boss here, we just have that big plastic front and it has that air dam down below. It does have some black recovery hooks down there, so kudos on the Trail Boss. But then if we move over here to the ZR2, we have a pretty aggressive looking front end there. Obviously we have that front facing camera for trails, which is amazing. Fog lights, red tow hooks, and we have protection. We have skid plates. So as for protection and capabilities and looks, I mean, the ZR2 is really trumping the Trail Boss, but I mean, the Trail Boss is not a bad looking truck. All right, so as for the motors, they're both the same. They both have the 2.7 turbocharged inline four. I think it makes about 310 horsepower and then 400 something the torque. But if you look at the motor on the ZR2, they're the same thing. There's no difference in the motor, so whatever. One of the major differences between the Trail Boss and the ZR2 is the ZR2 suspension. As opposed to the Trail Boss's 2-inch lift from the factory, the ZR2 has a 3-inch lift, and then it has some better suspension components. We have the Multimatic D SSB dampeners. These have been proven time and time again. They make your off-road as well as your on-road experience a lot better. But forget all that. Look at the looks of these things. The gold from the side, they are sexy. They make this ZR2 stand out above the rest easily. So let's head on back to the rear of these Colorados and look at the tailgates and the beds on these trucks. So let's start with the ZR2. Opening the tailgate on the ZR2, you can see it's finely tuned, a nice assisted tailgate here. The ZR2 comes standard with a spray-in bed liner, which is pretty nice, and also has that cool imprint of the ZR2 logo within the spray-in bed liner. As for tie-down points, each corner comes with 2 tie-down points, so you can see those there. But it also comes standard with all these pre-cut holes along the bed, sides of the bed. So if you wanted to add some more tie-down points or a rack system, you could do it with those pre-cut holes, I'm sure. A couple cool features that the ZR2 comes standard with are, first, this 120 volt outlet. That comes standard in the bed of the ZR2, so that could come in handy. And then my favorite feature is this little compartment in the tailgate itself. If you open up these latches and you lift this up, it reveals this waterproof compartment. So this is really cool here. I find this handy. If you go surfing, you can put your wetsuit in here, or if you wanted a tailgate, you can put ice in there and add some beers, because this thing's waterproof and it has a drain hole on it. So super cool on the tailgate. And then also on the Colorado, all the Colorados and Chevy trucks, they come standard with this, like I call it the yardstick on the tailgate here. So if you needed to measure anything, if you're doing any work with your truck, you have that option to measure things with the tailgate of your truck. So that's pretty cool. Also keep in mind that the tailgate assist not only dampens the fall of the tailgate, but also helps you lift it and close it. So for all you guys with bad shoulders like myself, that is a pretty cool option. All right, so now we're at the rear of the Trail Boss. Holy moly, that is one heavy tailgate. And obviously this one is unassisted on the Trail Boss. Looking at the bed, the Trail Boss does not come standard with any spring and bed liner, so you'll have to option that if you want that. The tailgate, it doesn't have that nifty compartment that the ZR2 has, and it also does not come standard with that 120 volt outlet that the ZR2 has. One thing the Trail Boss does have are these two tie downs in the four corners. So all corners have the two tie downs, and it also has these pre-existing options for adding your own tie downs. Pretty deep, you know, looking from how deep these walls are. It's a pretty good bed on the Colorado. But let's move on to the interiors. And man, that is one heavy tailgate. So the assist on the ZR2 is ideal. So as for the interior of the ZR2, this one really pops. You know, this is the top of the line Colorado trim. So they add a lot of accents in here in design just to make this thing stand out from the rest. Looking at the dash here, you have this yellow trim that makes, you know, it just makes it pop. I love this kind of like highlighter yellow trim there. They also have this kind of like terrain design with the ZR2 emblem there. A lot more buttons, obviously. Being a upper trim Colorado, it comes standard with seat heaters. And then the biggest thing, if you look over here, are these two buttons right here. This is what makes the ZR2 capable. We have rear and front and rear lockers here. So these are the two most important buttons on this truck. And I mean, the feel of these switches here is great and tactile. So love the design, love how easy it is to use this interior. And this design, I mean, it looks great. If you look at this seat here, it has more of that yellow trim on there, and then just this like terrain design on the seats. Pretty cool. As for multimedia and electronic options for your back seat passengers in the ZR2 comes standard with a 120 volt outlet down there, and also some USB outlets here. So definitely some good options for the back seat passengers in the ZR2 here. We actually have a little added storage here on the back of the seat in the ZR2. So to be expected, this is the upper trim of the Colorado. And again, love this stitching. So we're in the interior of the Trail Boss. It's pretty nice. We have this large touchscreen here. I think this is 11.5 inches, they quote it. But if you look at the buttons here, it's pretty basic. But everything's really black. You know, it really, at the true heart of the Trail Boss, it's a work truck. With a little bit more capability for off-roading with like the fender flares and the 2-inch raise on there. Not saying it's bad, but it's pretty plain, and that's what to be expected in this truck. This one came optioned with some EvoTech seats, so it's kind of like Chevrolet's faux leather, I believe, but they're pretty nice, you know. But yeah, again, a lot of black, but everything you need. Here's the rear of the Trail Boss. A lot of this faux leather. In the rear seats, there are no outlets for the passengers back here in the rear seats, so no charging your phones back here in the back seat of the Trail Boss, guys. One thing that I almost missed highlighting on the ZR2 are the camera options that come with this truck standard. I just put on the front-facing camera. This really helps when you're off-roading, making sure you avoid, you know, larger rocks or sharp rocks. I'm going to switch over to the rear-facing camera in just a second here. So you can also just throw that on while you're driving. Back to the front-facing camera here. You can also put on this overhead view, and that gives you a good vantage point to see where your truck positioning is. But again, the ZR2 comes standard with a lot of great camera options, and these things work wonders while you're, you know, off-roading or going up a hill. You know, a lot of times when you're off-roading going up a hill, you can't see what's in front of the truck, and that front-facing camera really comes into play. So now we're in the Trail Boss here. If you go to the camera settings on here, we have our rear camera. Like most modern vehicles, we have a rear-facing camera. It does have this nifty, you know, tow hitch camera. So if you're trying to pull anything, that's a convenient option for you. But yeah, just one camera facing backwards. So there you have it. There's my comparison of the Colorado Trail Boss compared to the ZR2. Both trucks are great trucks. The Trail Boss, I think, is a great value. And if I'm being honest, the first truck I chose was the Trail Boss. For what you get for your money, it's amazing. I did go with the Trail Boss, but the one I purchased, it was a lemon. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Colorados in general, because I still own one, but the one I purchased was just a total lemon. I'll have another whole video coming out with that. That did give me the ability to drive the truck for a little bit and realize that for what my goals were for the truck, I should have probably got a ZR2. Most of the things I planned on doing to the Trail Boss, the ZR2 comes standard with. So that is why I'm sitting now in the ZR2. And I love the ZR2. I love the accents, the interior accents. It makes me feel good sitting in the truck. And then also, I mean, it's just a beast. Off-road, this thing is super capable. It's a great truck. But stay tuned for some more videos, especially the lemon video. That'll be an interesting one. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please like and subscribe. Talk some smack in the comments. Tell me what I did wrong or right. But yeah, please keep watching and stay tuned. We'll see you next time. All right, so looking at the Trail Boss here, we are roughly at 39 inches from the ground to the bottom of the fender. And that's just a rough number here. But we're gonna come over to the ZR2 and we'll get that same measurement here. And we are roughly at 41. So we're about 2 inches above the Trail Boss on the rear end of the ZR2. And I think it's not just the lift, the extra inch of lift on the ZR2, but it's also maybe, I think the tires, being mud train tires, are maybe a little bigger.